Think about the last time someone made you angry. Really angry. The kind where your jaw tightened before your brain even caught up. You did not choose that reaction. It happened to you. And there is a reason it felt so automatic. That reason is older than language, older than fire, older than anything you would recognize as human civilization. What if the person you are, your temper, your need for approval, your fear of being left out, your instinct to help strangers or distrust them, was not built by your childhood, your culture, or your choices? What if it was locked in place before your ancestors had words for any of it? This is not a metaphor. This is what the science is starting to say. Your personality has a blueprint, and that blueprint was written on the African savanna, under a sky your eyes have never seen, by pressures your conscious mind has never faced. But your nervous system remembers every single one of them. Start with a number. 100,000 years ago, the average human group was between 50 and 150 people. That's it, your entire social world. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent years studying the relationship between brain size and social group size across primate species. What he found became known as Dunbar's number. The human neocortex, the part of your brain that handles social reasoning, is sized for roughly 150 relationships, not 5,000, not the number of followers you have, 150. That is the upper limit of the social network your brain was built to manage. Everyone beyond that is, on some neurological level, a stranger, and your brain treats strangers the same way it has always treated them, with caution, with quiet suspicion, with the same low-level alertness it used when an unfamiliar face at the water source could mean a competing tribe. You are not paranoid, you are prehistoric. Now think about why some people are naturally extroverted and others are not. For decades, psychologists treated this as a personality quirk, a spectrum, a trait. But evolutionary psychologist David Buss at the University of Texas has argued something more provocative. Introversion and extroversion are not random variations in human personality. They are adaptive strategies that solved different survival problems in the ancestral environment. The extrovert forged farther, took more social risks, built alliances across rival groups, and gained resources through boldness. The introvert conserved energy, detected threats earlier, processed information more carefully, and avoided the catastrophic mistakes that killed the overconfident. Both strategies worked. Both survived, which is why both are still here, in you, in your family, in every human culture on Earth. Your personality type is not your quirk, it is your lineage's winning strategy. Here's what makes this stranger. A 2015 study by psychologist Bart Sonens found that core personality traits, conscientiousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, openness, and extroversion, the so-called Big Five, show heritability rates between 40 and 60%. Not learned, not culturally transmitted, genetically inherited. The careful, organized person at the office did not become that way because their parents were strict. They were born closer to that pole. The anxious person who rehearses every conversation did not develop that pattern from a traumatic event. Their nervous system was calibrated for threat detection before they took their first breath. Environment shapes expression, but the underlying architecture was already there, coded into the genome by every ancestor who survived long enough to pass it on. Which means your personality is, in part, a fossil, a behavioral fossil, a record of which psychological strategies kept human beings alive long enough to reproduce in an environment that no longer exists. Think about anxiety. In the modern world, anxiety is classified as a disorder, a problem, something to manage, medicate, reduce. But in the ancestral environment, Anxiety was a survival instrument so powerful that the humans who lacked it died younger. They walked into the dark cave without hesitation. They approached the unfamiliar animal without pausing. They dismissed the strange sound in the grass as nothing. The anxious ones stopped. They checked. They imagined the worst possible outcome and prepared for it. And they lived. Anxiety is not a malfunction. It is a system that was tuned for a world of constant mortal threat, now running in a world where the threats are mostly social and financial. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just doing it about email. Now consider the need for approval. This one runs so deep that most people never question it. You feel it when you post something online and check the response. You feel it when you walk into a room and wonder what people think of you. You feel it when a friend doesn't text back and something in your gut twists. That need is not vanity. It is not weakness. In a group of 150 people where social exclusion meant death, where being cast out meant facing the predators and the cold and the starvation alone, your social reputation was your life insurance policy. The people who didn't care what others thought of them got exiled, or they started conflicts that got them killed. The people who obsessively monitored their social standing, who adjusted their behavior based on how others perceived them, who felt genuine physical distress when they sensed disapproval, those people stayed in the group. They survived. They had children. You are those children. Your need for approval is not a personality flaw. It is a survival mechanism that kept your lineage alive for 100,000 years. Psychologist Mark Leary at Duke University has studied this phenomenon extensively. He calls it sociometer theory. The idea is that self-esteem is not fundamentally about how you feel about yourself in isolation. It's a real-time gauge of your perceived social inclusion. When your self-esteem drops, it's your brain reading signals that your position in the group may be weakening. When it rises, your brain is reading safety, connection, belonging. You don't feel low self-esteem because you are insufficient. You feel it because an ancient monitoring system inside you is detecting a potential threat to your place in the tribe. And to that system, losing your place in the tribe is not embarrassing, it is fatal. This is the part that changes everything. The modern world has removed almost every physical danger that shaped your personality. There are no predators in the parking lot. There is no rival tribe beyond the city limits. The winter that would have starved you exists only as a rising grocery bill. But the psychological architecture built to navigate those threats is still fully installed, still running, still interpreting every meeting at work as a dominance ritual, still reading a friend's canceled plans as potential social rejection, still treating public speaking as the equivalent of standing exposed on open ground. The environment changed, your brain did not. And here's the counterintuitive twist. Knowing this doesn't make you less human, it makes you more human than you've ever been. Because every time you feel that irrational spike of social anxiety before a conversation that objectively doesn't matter, you're not broken, you are ancient. You are connected to an unbroken chain of human beings who felt that exact same spike, who hesitated, who read the room, who adjusted, who survived. Every quirk in your personality that frustrates you, every pattern you have tried to change, every instinct that fires in the wrong century, all of it is evidence that you are here, that your ancestors made it, that the specific cocktail of traits you were born with was tested in one of the harshest environments in the history of this planet, and it worked. You are not a default human that has gone wrong. You are a finely calibrated instrument built for a world that no longer exists, learning in real time how to be itself in the one that does. And the next time someone makes you angry before your brain catches up, before that jaw tightens, and that reaction fires faster than thought, you will know something most people never stop to consider. That's not a flaw in your design.
That is the design. 100,000 years old and still running. Still you.